Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Oh, thank you. I never expect that. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sherwin Mariano from the Philippines. Actually, 10 years, I came back here after 10 years. 2004, the first time I came up and speak about what is sponsorship all about in my life through international needs. And after 10 years, I'm here again to tell you what has been happening in my life. But first, I'd like to give you a brief background about the Philippines. Yes, Philippines is composed of 7,107 islands, and Philippines is big as New Zealand in terms of land mass. If I can put the whole Philippines in Australia, around 30 whole Philippines can fit in the whole Australia. At the moment, we have now 100 million people in the Philippines. I live in the capital of the Philippines in Manila. And Manila is composed of 16 cities. And Metro Manila alone has 25 million people, as big as the population of the whole Australia. Families have twice as many children, like 5 or 10 children in a family or more. Yet workers earn less than 10% of typical Australian income, like $3 a day, earn the people below poverty line. 40 Filipinos control wealth equivalent to 76% of the nation's GDP. Rich became more richer, and poor became more poorer because of the government system that we have. Children are 4 times more likely to die in infancy because of the poor sanitation and health system that we have. I born there in the Philippines. I born in a slum called Labas Bacod. Literally means outside the fence. This is my story. Once upon a time, there was a little boy playing marbles in the dust. Labas Bacod literally means outside the fence. We live in a slum there, outside the fence, because there's a huge wall that separates between the middle class people and the slum. Labas Bacod is around 1.5 acres of land with 2,000 people, 146 houses, and 400 families living together in that slum. And we are in the bank of the river and the catch basin of the flood. Every time there's flood, we have to evacuate ourselves. We just bore a hole in a big part of the wall. And in the wealthy people, that they have their basketball covered court there. And we stayed there for a night or 2. If the water subsides, we have to go back again in our place to clean all the mess and all the mess. Before, our houses is just made up of cardboard box. So, if the water goes up, our houses has been washed away. And for us, it's normal. For us, it's typical because we born there, we've seen poverty looks like. And we have to start all over again. One day, there's a group of people from the other side of the wall who went down in my place, Labas Bacod. And they've seen the place unorganized, in a mess. So many people. Lots of children. And they saw a particular child. And this child, his name is Sherwin. And that's me. I was 9 years old then when international needs found me in the dust playing marbles. And this group of people asked me, together with other children, "What are you doing here? You're supposed to be in this school by this time." I said, "School? We're not studying." "Oh." They said, "We are from International Needs and we are helping children through sponsorship. And we would like to help you." And the group of International Needs gathered all the children and the parents and began telling what is sponsorship all about. Because we never know what sponsorship all about. We never know the word help before. Because nobody cared. Nobody helped in our place. Then they took photos of those children to be sponsored and get their information. And they said, we will find a sponsor in Australia for these children. At first, we think, they might sell us there. Because we never know what sponsorship is all about. Then after 2 months, they go back again and they said, I have the list of children here has been sponsored in Australia. And they named them one by one. I thought, I don't have sponsor. Number 16, Sherwin Mariano got sponsor in Melbourne, Australia. For me, that time, I win a jackpot lotto. Because for us, Filipino, education is the best key to break the cycle of poverty. Without education, we cannot help ourselves to get out from the poverty. Then, they provide us everything that we need in school. First, they took us in school and enrolled. First time in my life to receive brand new shoes, bags, school uniforms, pencil, pens, papers, and all the things that we need that we never had before. Because our parents, grandparents, great-great-grandparents are not educated. They are in cycle of poverty. That's why they never know what to do. How can they help themselves to uplift themselves in that kind of situation? In school, we've learned to read, to write, and we thought of our parents as well, how to read, to write, because most of them doesn't know how to read nor to write. Every Sunday and Saturday afternoon, we have this Bible study or Bible story under the bamboo tree in Labas Bacod. And all of us are excited to go there and hear, what's that thick book that has a lot of stories that we never heard before? It's called the Bible. Oh, that's the Bible. And so many stories that we've heard and learned, And when I was 13, International Needs took us in a youth camp. Again, first time in my life to experience my own bed in that youth camp. Because in our house, we just sleep on the floor together with my siblings. Just like spring rolls. Someone will command, turn to your left after 6 hours, turn to your right after an hour. That's the situation. And in youth camp, also, first time to taste fried chicken and spaghetti. Wow, it's a treat for us. But this is sponsorship all about. Changing lives, community, and the totality of the whole human being. Then after that camp, we go back in our place. I become active in my church, become Sunday school teacher, and involved in many ministries, and become a youth leader in my community. I thought when you become a Christian, you can never encounter a problem anymore. Well, that's true. Once you become a Christian, you're declaring war to the enemies. When I was 19, my parents left. First, my father walked away. After a couple of months, my mother ran away too. I am the second child out of 9 children in my family. My eldest sister is away from us because she's having her own family. And I'm the eldest left among my siblings. And my youngest sister at the time was 3 years old. Next to her is 5, 7, 9, 13, and so on. And my youngest sister has a cleft palate and ear lip. The big opening in the mouth. And for me, it's a challenge. I feed her using a medicine dropper, feed her milk or water. And I've experienced hunger as well. Hunger attacks my family. 5 days in a row, we don't have food to eat. All our body are shaking and my siblings are begging food for me. I feel so helpless because I couldn't help them because I cannot get an instant work for me to be able to provide for my siblings. And also that time I'm studying in tertiary, taking up to be a teacher in one of the university in the Philippines. But it comes into my mind to abandon them as well because I wanted to finish my education without obligation towards to my siblings. But then, I'm struggling. How can I provide for them? How can I pursue my education? If I can pursue my education and left them, everyone will suffer, or my siblings will suffer. But I can finish my education. One night, I planned to run away as well. I put my clothes in a plastic bag. That night, ready to go. I just wait for them to sleep. Then, when I look at them, about to go, the Lord reminds me about His word. In Deuteronomy 31:6 says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. The Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." Also in Jeremiah 33:3 said, "Call to me and I will answer you and tell you the great and unsearchable things you did not know." So many words that came into my mind. The Lord spoke to me. And I've learned that word when I was 9 years old under the bamboo tree. I learned that word in a youth camp. It reminds me to look after my siblings. So then I look after my siblings. I choose to look after them. Life is not a series of chances. Life is a series of choices. And that choice will bring you to your future. And then, after 5 days, when I open the door, there's a basket of food waiting for us outside the door. God provides. And I've learned that people from our church brought that food because they knew what happened. And somebody also gave me a part-time work. Isn't it amazing that God really works? Once you trust Him, God will provide. He will never, ever leave you nor forsake you. That is His promise to us. Whatever kind of situation that you're in, just call to Him and He will give you the answer in a perfect and right time. Just be patient. And after that, I finished my education as a Bachelor of Science and secondary education. After 9 years without seeing my parents, they shown up in my graduation. I'm very, very surprised. Someone saw my father in other place. Someone saw my mother in other place as well. And they told them that I'll be graduating. And they come in my graduation. I feel that that time and very moment is very special for me. Because I have this education. The dream that I'm dreaming. And my parents go back. Forgiveness, respect, joy, and love towards my parents. And my parents is now with me and with my siblings as well. They go back. And another thing happened. My eldest sister who's away from us, she came one morning with her 2 daughters, 2 years old and 7 years old. And at that time, she was 7 months pregnant. And she's telling me and asking me to stay with me because her partner was in the jail because he was caught by the policeman using and selling illegal drugs. And I just take a deep breath and accept them because she might end up selling her children or begging in the street. After 2 months, she wake me up early morning asking me to bring her to hospital because she's about to give birth. I brought her in the hospital nearby, and when we arrived in the hospital, the attendant nurse asked me if I have money. I said yes, because if you don't have money, they will not accept you. I get the form and sign the waiver for me to pay. That's the contract. And they accept my sister. After 5 minutes, she gave birth. Normal delivery, baby boy. Following day, I check my pocket. It's just 12 pesos, or equivalent of 25 cents here in Australia. I said, Lord, how can I pay? I might be in trouble in this hospital. I did not lie that I don't have money. I have money, but it's not enough to pay. I said, Lord, have mercy, please. Then, when I got in the hospital, passing by in the car park, someone saw me. Sherwin, there you are. I'm looking at you this morning in your place, and your siblings told me that you're here at the hospital. And he gave me an envelope immediately. And when I opened that envelope, there's money inside. I said, wow, please come with me in the cashier and let's look at our bill. When I saw the hospital bill and I count the money is very exactly with our hospital bill. I said, how did you know this? You come earlier. He said, no, I just saw you in the car park. Oh, are you sure? He said, yes. You know what, Sherwin? I saw you in my dream last night that you're in trouble. That's why I rushed to your place and come here in the hospital. I get money from my wallet and put that in an envelope without counting it. God is amazing. He will never leave us or forsake us. He will rescue us in times of trouble. We managed to go home. So that my 12 pesos is saved. Provide food for us. After 2 months, my sister abandoned her 3 children. Another abandonment. I guess this is a preparation for me to look after with many abandoned children, or I might put up an orphanage for abandoned children. And those children are now grown up because God provides. The next chapter in my life is working in conjunction with international needs as a CEO of Vineyard of His Grace Ministry in the Philippines, a partner of International Needs Australia. At first, I'm planning to work overseas to get more income compared in the Philippines. But God told me, stay in the Philippines, look after with those children, just like you before. I said, no, God, this is my chance to save for myself, for my future, and to help my family. The Lord said, no, stay. I choose to stay because God has a perfect plan for me. And then, trusting the Lord is a big word for me. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. Trusting the Lord is easier to say than done. But once you trust Him, all things are possible. He will make a way for all the troubles, obstacles, and trials that you are facing. And what are international needs and Vineyard doing now? We have child sponsorships. Over 600 children has been sponsored in the Philippines. But what is 600 against 2.8 million children who are not in school yet, who are dreaming and hoping to be educated as well? We have community development, which is pertaining to the parents, or parenting and family planning and hygiene awareness and education. Project Joshua. This Project Joshua is to assist children with disabilities and health problems. Also tutorials, youth camps, children camps, medical assistance to all the sponsored children and their family, and emergency response. Have you heard last year about what happened in the Philippines down south? The strongest typhoon ever that we have experienced. That is really terrible thing. When we go there, we ride in the airplane and boat, jeepney, tricycle, and all the transportations, because we have 52 sponsored children there. So we'd like to know what's going on, and we would like to help them. So we have all those clean water, food, clothes, medicine. We have the doctor and counselors as well for trauma. Because it's really hard to get in that province. Almost or more than 16 million people has been affected, and more than 8,000 people died in that super typhoon. So we get in that place, we reach the place, and they said, you are the first agency who reached us and give us clean water, food, clothes, and medicine. And we are also taking profiles of children to be sponsored from that place. And most of them are still living in a big auditorium, thousands of family, homeless, hopeless, helpless. And these children really need your help. These children would be Sherwin Mariano as well. Someone invested in my life. And now, the return of investment, I can now help my siblings, my nephews and my nieces, my whole family, even my father and my mother, and my community. Because someone cared and taught us how to share. That is child sponsorship means to me. And the best thing that happened in my life is the Lord Jesus Christ. Without Him, I cannot stand here and testify how good He is in my life. I'm just one of those 100 children has been sponsored of international means. And hundreds of my batch are now grown up and now professionals. The success stories, in the Philippines that we have, like Bernadette, she's now a math and science teacher. Benjul, who doesn't have legs, but he's now an IT expert in one of the biggest company in the Philippines. And Syra, she's now a bank teller. And hundreds of us are now helping our family and our community. And I have this Nell, a child also, who is turning 8 this September. One of the 7 siblings affected by Typhoon Haiyan down in south that I'm telling you a while ago. And his father is a fisherman, and he would like to be a policeman someday. Who knows? One of you could help one of 100 profiles that I'm bringing here in Australia. You too can make a difference. If you see a need and if you have nothing, there's nothing that you can do. If you have a little, you can help a little. But if you have a lot, there's a whole lot thing that you can do. Salamat po. Thank you very much. To God be the glory.